Hi, this is Shane, and this is basically episode 0 of something I want to start doing, which is chew gum make games, where I'm going to try to document my kind of journey to making little mini games and putting them up on itch or Steam in the future potentially. But the idea is just to kind of, 1, to hold myself accountable, and 2, to go over just kind of my thought process and what I plan on doing. Potentially, I don't know how educational it'll be. You know, these aren't going to be tutorials. But you may, if you're interested in making your own games, then you may learn something. Or if you're just bored, it could potentially be interesting. But anyway, this is sort of like a fake episode. I just want to start talking and rambling and get information out there and start talking about what I've been doing to prepare for making my first game. So I have these rigs that I modeled a while ago. They're a combination of FK and IK. And what that means is forward kinematics and inverse kinematics. And forward kinematics means you start with the shoulder, then you rotate the arm, then you can bend the elbow, then the wrist. Inverse kinematics means you would grab the wrist and the whole arm would follow, which isn't set up for this arm, but I can do it with the hips. So I grab the hips and the legs follow. Don't let his emotionless face fool you. He's ready to get down. Anyway, these are modeled. They're fairly low poly, not that low poly, honestly. I think if I look at no, they're not really low poly, but in today's day and age of computers, it doesn't matter too much. The important thing is that they are compatible with Unreal Engine, and on Unity, undoubtedly. I'm sure they're very, very bare bones, very bare bones. Okay. Oh well, that doesn't matter. But these are 3D models that I can import everywhere into any game engine I want. You can look at their materials are just, literally, oh, okay. I can't really show it, can I? You can see this palette is it's just 4 squares of color. That's the whole point of it. The mouths are, let me show you the poses. Most of my day was spent organizing the pose library. It's like this new feature in Blender 3 that it's neat, but kind of frustrating. I can click and he does stuff. Oh, that's wrong. So there's already a glitch. And there's a glitch there too. None of these are, oh my gosh. Okay, I love and hate the pose library. I'm all freaking out here. So you see this up here, it says CHCG pose. That's actually, that CH stands for chew. That's him over here. I was using the wrong pose library for the character. I need to go to GBCG pose. I almost lost my cool. I probably did. I'm not gonna listen back. Now you can see what I spent the day doing. Freaking
What? What's going on?
I don't know.
Okay, well, just get back to it. Or else.
Anyway,
Or else.
it's hard for me not to do the voices when I see the expressions. I'm a fan of just being able to pop to expressions quickly. They're very simple, but you can do this with the mouths as well. So we got the mouth. That mouth is gone? No, it's there. Okay. So you can see these are hand-drawn, very simple. That was the purpose of it. They're essentially like decals. I don't know if you're familiar with how like the old Nintendo 64 and like GameCube games kind of worked with mouths. I'm actually not familiar with it either, but I think they just have swappable geometry, where that's how I'm doing it anyway. Let's see if I can I can't show you because the mouth, oh, that's so weird looking. It's not showing me it's not on the head. It's a plane. Haha! You can see these tiny mouths here. This is how I'm doing mouths that work in Unreal Engine and Unity and stuff. I'm just shrinking all of the geometry inside the head itself and exposing whatever mouth shape I want when I need it. And what that allows me to do is to just, it gives the perception of popping to different mouth shapes when you're doing stuff. Ooh. Like that. And of course I can make him happy. I have, he's, anyway. All that stuff is compatible with Unreal Engine because of the way it's designed. It's a little clunky for animating, but you know, the fact that it's just like instantly works, you can import it, is why I kind of went that route. And that's set up for both of them. This pose library thing that's new to Blender, it's frustrating, but it's cool. I wonder if I can. I was unaware that I could do that. That makes me very happy. Does it now? Yeah, it does. Anyway, the way the pose library works is very confusing. All these poses are set up on a different version of these characters, saved to a different blend file that needs to be stored in its own folder. Like, why, guys? Why are you doing this? Let's go to file paths. You can see they call them, it couldn't be more obtuse, asset libraries. You can see these are the CG ones, and actually, just for the sake of like whatever, the ones up here are for the pixel versions of them. The ones I use for the warning for Melissa.
The warning, this game contains foul language.
And it contains my face. I got all that set up, and that took, I mean, I did that in the past, I set that up in the past, but it took weeks to figure out. Not weeks, it took like a weekend, or a couple weekends. I guess over the span of weeks. Anyway, this is just sun. I was thinking about doing emission shaders, or like cell shading. I can actually show you really quick what the Gunboy would look like. Or well, let's do Chewie. What Chewie would look like cell shaded. The issue I have, and the reason why I'm probably not going to, at least not for this first little mini game, is because I kind of want the environment to react with them. So this is a principled BSDF shader. Like I said, all the textures where you technically saw that they're just little squares of color. It's truly just like a 128 by 128 image with a couple of like little squares of color. But if I drop in a new shader, an emission shader, I drop it in, delete the principled, pop this in, look at that. It's almost like he's cell shaded. It gives if I could create some kind of inverted hull, which gives like a black outline, then it would be more obvious, but it's pretty neat. You can see the difference between the two of them. If I turn off all the gizmos and I hide this, you can sort of see, you know, Chewie is just almost flat, almost 2D from every angle, whereas Gunboy is 3D. Now, you'll see ugliness around this area here. You know, some of the ugliness of the body showing up. I don't know if it'll be that ugly in... This will definitely be ugly in Unreal Engine. I believe I was supposed to... yeah, I was supposed to subdivide that. I'm going to add a subdivision modifier. Just one. I'm going to press this icon here so that I can actually see the results of it. And then I'm going to bring it above the armature and apply it. I can't apply it? Is that because I'm in edit mode? That was. I just applied it. Now, by applying a subdivision modifier to the geometry, what I've done is just increase the amount of geometry exponentially, doubled. I mean, it's not exponential with each click, I don't think. It just doubles each time. Oh, maybe that's the definition of exponential. You look it up, you let me know, and I will do nothing about it. I probably won't even remember. I'm going to do... I don't know why I was so combative about a word that I don't use in my day-to-day life. Anyway. But you can see the geometry for his body. Anyway, like right now you could argue that Chewie looks way better than he does. But the thing is, I'm going to be dropping them into Unreal Engine. Dropping them into this environment. Now don't get too excited, because even though this is gorgeous, I did not design this. I bought this. Or I can't remember if I bought this or if it was free. Oh gosh, if you are interested at all in game dev in any way, shape, or form, and listen, I'm not even going to be making a game where you can wander around in this world. I kind of buried the lead, but I'm going to be making a visual novel. Like, why don't you just let me go back to... Jeez. I'm going to be making a visual novel using still image renders of these characters in Unreal Engine in that environment. So it's going to be like CG backgrounds, CG characters, but they're going to be still images that kind of pop up and reflect. I'm going to be using Ren'Py. Now, if you are one of the few people who listen to me ramble late at night, you will you'll know that I've been talking about this, or at least I've mentioned it. In fact, I think my latest diary entry kind of like used the word Ren'Py. I didn't realize that there was an apostrophe in it, but Ren'Py is like a Python-based visual novel creator. Doki Doki Panic was... Doki Doki Panic. Doki Doki Literature Club was made in Ren'Py. Doki Doki Panic, for anybody who doesn't know, Doki Doki Panic was the name of the game that Super Mario Bros. 2 for NES in the US was based off of. It was just like a sprite. Basically, Mario Bros. 2 for regular Nintendo in the US was like a sprite hack, basically. It was just is that simple. But that looks really cute. I haven't looked into who that is or what they do, but gorgeous. Love it. But this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be making a visual novel. It's going to be very simple. It's going to be based off of a fairy tale, I believe. I don't want to talk about the actual plot too much because... not that there's going to be twist endings, but I mean, part of the only enjoyable part of a visual novel, I would argue, would be watching the story unfold. So going in while knowing the story is kind of a waste. But I don't have much else to say because I haven't done much else. Setting up the pose library in Blender. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is posing the characters out based on dialogue.
Come here, little boy.
You're a little boy. And then I'm going to be exporting these poses into Unreal Engine, this into here. And then I'll be navigating through the camera. Do I have a level sequence already set up? I don't think so. I got sidetracked. You should... Do I have the Epic Store? Why can I never... Can I go to the Epic Store? Here. It's good. Here's... So even if you are like, oh, I like Ren'Py, I like visual novels, that's what I want to do, you should still totally... download the Epic Game Store, download Unreal Engine, learn to use Unreal... Okay, this is actually... Now that I say it out loud, it sounds absurd, but this was the point I was trying to make, is that Unreal Engine, Epic, they offer massive amounts of free assets once a month, like really expensive stuff, like a whole slew of pumpkins here. This is really cool. Undead creatures. And right now, all this stuff is free, and it's going to be free for the whole month. This sort of thing is just neat. Even when I go months without doing anything, game-wise, I mean, that's free right now. You can have that little boy. He's so ugly. Don't kiss him. But, you can make... I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, he wants a kiss. Look at that tongue. I don't know why I'm stuck on kisses. Zombie kissing. Oh, this feels like a Bob's Burger episode. Anyway, all this stuff is free. And you can use it for whatever you want. No one can stop you. Like, if it's on the marketplace and you buy it, that means it's yours to use for whatever you want. There's no limitations except your imagination. This is really cute. It's almost like tilt-shift photography because they blurred the edges here to make the pumpkins look tiny. They almost look like miniatures because of that. Anyway, it's free. So that's what I do. I pick up the free stuff, as much free stuff as I can. So I can't remember if I bought this or if this was free, but I'm going to use it because I like it. I'm just going to tweak some stuff, and I'll probably make, like an actual video showing me tweaking some of the assets to accommodate the camera moves. And eventually I'll get into crazy stuff, like create a cinema camera here, locate it here. I have to create a level sequence in order to like truly use the camera the way I was trying to. Oops. What happened to the cinema camera? Now this is getting off into... Really? You're not gonna let me... I'll just create another one. Forget it. This isn't real. This is not what I was planning on doing with this little introduction episode. The purpose of this episode. So now I can walk through. I want to change the focal length of this camera, because a focal length of 11 millimeters is absurd. Everything warps as you get close to it. It looks ugly. It's stupid. There's like, you would never buy a camera with like an 11 millimeter focal length. I have no idea, or maybe you would. I don't know anything about film, other than I know what I like and I don't like. 60 millimeters is a little more standard. 80 is great, but you'll find that you see how it's like I'm having trouble navigating? It's because the camera needs to be super, super far back for these shots. But look at how much more cinematic that looks just by changing the focal length. Isn't that cool? Anyway, and the whole reason I'm dropping Gumboy and Chewie into this world is that instead of like trying to like take a screenshot of this and then drop them in digitally, like I don't want to do that, because if I physically place Gumboy back here with the principled shader and not the emission shader, because the emission shader implies that the emission shader, you can see there's no shading. There's no shading, but if Gumboy was dropped back in that scene that we just were at, then that is not the scene. And that was my one shot to open up the start menu. I'm not a huge fan of Windows, but I have no choice. The fog, the atmospheric fog, you can see as I travel further back, the fog, oh, come on guys. The fog gets thicker and thicker as you get further and further back. That's, I can't remember if that's the exponential fog or the atmospheric fog in Unreal Engine, but regardless, it exists and it happens and it occurs. And it has an effect on any characters you drop back there. So if I render out an image with Gumboy back there, then I get to have all of that added atmospheric effect. The only issue that I imagine having is the fact that apparently I've been trying to watch YouTube tutorials on Ren'Py, real basics, just preliminary stuff like while eating dinner and things. And they basically have two different types of images in Ren'Py. They have scenes, and then they have like actors or characters. And the scene images are meant to be the whole background, and the characters are meant to be separate. Now, when you have atmospheric, the characters being involved in interacting with the background means they kind of have to be rendered out together, potentially. So it's going to look, basically what my issue that I'm potentially going to run across is that every time a character moves or acts, the entire background is going to be replaced. I don't know that it's going to matter too much if the backgrounds are truly perfectly static and don't move much. It may just be like a space issue where it's like ugly, or not ugly, but too big and clunky to run potentially. I'm not sure, but they're just going to be freaking PNG files or JPEGs. But isn't that pretty, just navigating through the camera in Unreal Engine? Don't you just feel like you could be a filmmaker? It's like just every time I accidentally shift the button, it's like, don't you feel like you're doing something? Like, this doesn't feel like a game anymore. It feels like a fun little cartoon, or at least like a cutscene. But that's also because it's not a game camera. It's a cinema camera. Unreal Engine has two different types of cameras. And that's the whole point of the cinema camera, is for it to be more cinematic. Duh. Anyway, I'm rambling because none of this was what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to show you guys. I just wanted to say something out loud and commit to starting. And that's why this episode is going to be stupid. But if you you've always wanted to, if you've wanted to do that and want to do it with me, then you can. And if you have questions, I don't know if I have the expertise or the ability to articulate answers to questions you have. Like, I downloaded this, but I downloaded something and it can't work. Like, I don't know how many questions I could truly answer, because I'm trying to learn this stuff as I go. But I could do my best if you have questions in the comment section of these videos. Now, why did that happen? You are being held hostage by me as I figure out why. You see how his foot is like going down? It's like, this foot goes through the ground. I don't obey the laws of physics because I don't have to. Well, I don't like that. I don't care what you like. I'm busy. No, you cannot be so busy that you... Okay. Okay. So, is it because of a parenting issue? Where is these are not parented. These are not parented. These are. I have no idea why that would be happening. And boy, gosh, gee whiz, do I wish I could fix it right now so I don't have to remember it or think about it. What is going on? So you and you. What if I bring this down and this? So none of this matters. This is silly. I shouldn't be showing you this. Let's go to the viewport display and turn off these bones and see. Aha! Okay, so here's the mistake. Look at that. Look at that. So I was using custom bone shapes just for ease of use, but the issue was that one of the custom bones was designed in a way to where it, there we go, now he's fixed. I'm sorry if that was boring, but that was really fascinating. So I had accidentally, it was my mistake, I screwed something up, but you can use custom bone shapes instead of using these normal standard bones. But what I did was I made a custom bone shape that accounted for a mistake in the positioning of the real bone. Because I can change this up and down. Like this, his stomach. Oops, that was the scale. Can I undo that? I can. Wait, that wasn't the scale. Oh my gosh, I'm so silly. The bone orientation affects, anyway, listen, it doesn't matter. The purpose is you can move this bone anywhere you want, and it still controls the same bone. Then if you delete the shape, you'll see the bone is right here. So the control bone, is not real. It's just a nice little shape to help you grab the bone that you truly made. That has like all the mesh weight painted to it. So this is the thrilling sort of stuff that I plan to be talking about on Chew Gum Make Games. I don't know who this is for, this video series, other than for me, to hold me accountable and to make stuff. But hey, there'll be games to play eventually. So even if you're like, wow, this was not for me, but I wish you the best, that's okay. You're still welcome to play the game. And I will post, maybe I'll post like vertical clips of just like the short, exciting progress, so that, people who want to be involved but don't want to be like barraged with silly technical stuff can still be like involved, because I don't want to like exclude anybody, but it does get pretty niche, these interests, but just so everyone is aware, all the software I was talking about and showing you, it's all free and open source, well, I mean, I don't know if like Unreal Engine is open source, but Ren'Py and Blender are, and it's all free. It's all free to use. So if you truly were like, wow, this interests me, but I don't have money, like you don't need money, at least not to get this stuff and to get those free assets on Unreal Engine. And there's tons of free assets out in the world. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up because I have more stuff that I need to do. Like I need to like write down the story, the plot points of the story. I'm just gonna do that with a pen and paper, and I can't really. I might go into the details of that after the game is done, so you can see like maybe my thought process behind how I like write and structure that. But I can't. I don't want to go through that like now while making the game because then it would kind of spoil plot points in my plan for the plot. But anyway, gonna make my own little Doki Doki Literature Club game. But it'll be them. It'll be us. And we'll all witness it together later. And if you watch this, thank you. Yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye.